Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Mujibur Rahman Creations. In this video, we are going to discuss about the sources of Hindu law. In introduction, I'd like to say that the term Hindu is not used as a religious term. It is used as a geographical term. The persons, the people who lived outside or the beside the Indus River, they are called the Hindu as a geographical term. So first of all, you have to know what is source. Source means something from which something originates or which helps to originate something. So talking about the sources of Hindu law, the sources of Hindu law are divided into two broad categories as ancient sources, and second one modern sources. So the ancient sources of the Hindu law are Shruti, Smriti, commentaries and digests, and number 4 is custom. The modern sources of Hindu law are justice, equity and good conscience. Number 2, judicial decisions or precedents. Number 3, legislations. So friends, I have given you a brief introduction to the sources of Hindu law. So now we are going to discuss about these sources. Moving on to the primary sources of Hindu law. Number 1 is Shruti. The Shruti. The term Shru is derived from the root Shru, S-R-U. Shruti is derived from the root Shru, which means to hear and signifies what is heard. In theory, Shrutis are considered to be the primary and paramount sources of Hindu law. The Shrutis consist of 4 Vedas and the Upanishads, dealing chiefly with religious rites and the means of attaining the knowledge and moksha or salvation. Vedas are ultimately traditional source of Hindu law. The Vedas are divided into 4 types, or there are 4 Vedas: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sam Veda and Atharva Veda. The Rig Veda contains mostly the eulogies of gods and laws of sacrifices. The texts of Rig Veda are the oldest. Next, the texts of Yajur Veda are most frequently associated with rituals and endowed with magic properties. Number 3, the Sam Veda consists of prayers composed in mantra intended to be chanted at sacrifices. Atharva Veda consists of magic charms. So now the Vedangas or the appendix to the Vedas came into existence in the post-Vedic period. There are 6 Vedangas. So we have discussed the first source of Hindu law, Shruti. So from Shruti there are questions: what is Shruti? What are the types of Vedas? How many types of the Vedangas are? From this point, the Shrutis, there will be a short question: how many types of Vedangas are? There are 6 Vedangas. Moving to next source of Hindu law, number 2, Smriti. So if we see, unlike the Shruti, the Smriti means what was remembered, and the Smriti is of human origin, and it is believed to be recollections of rishis handed down to us, constituting the principal sources of Hindu law. The Smritis contain the precepts whose authority is beyond dispute, but whose meaning is open to various interpretations and has to be determined by ordinary process of reason. The Smritis are divided into primary and secondary Smritis. The primary Smritis are called the Dharma Sutras and Dharma Shastras. Dharma Sutras are written by Gautama, Bodhayana, Apastamba, Harita, Vasishtha and Vishnu. And then the Dharma Shastras are written by Manu, Yajnavalkya, Brihaspati and Narada. Next, the Shrutis are of 2 kinds. There are 2 types of Shruti. In number 1, in prose style, which are called Dharma Sutras, and number 2, in poetry style, which are called the Dharma Shastras. So friends, we have completed the point number 2, Smritis. So from Smritis, there will be questions. How many types of Smritis are? The Smritis which are in the prose or poetry style, they are called dash. What are they called? So you can get the short questions from this point. Next, moving on to the third point of the sources of Hindu law, commentaries and digests. So the commentaries and digests are the interpretations of the Shrutis, interpretations of the Smritis, not Shruti, Smritis. The commentaries and digests were also the records of the traditional customs recorded in the Smritis, as well as the new customs claiming for and found worthy of recognition. The period of commentaries and digests is between 700 AD to 1700 AD. The last commentary was Bhaijayanti, written by Nanda Pandit. The principal commentaries are Dayabhaga by Jemutavhana, Midakshara, a commentary on Yajnavalkya, Smriti by Bijnaneshwara. Number 3, Bhiramitrodaya by Mitra Mishra, Vivada Chintamani by Bhaschapati Mishra, etc. So friends, we have completed the point number 3, commentaries and digests. From here, there will be a short question that the commentaries and the digests covers the period between dash and dash. So you have to know the period which contains the commentaries and digests. So the period is between 700 AD to 1700 AD. So moving on to point number 4, custom. What is a custom? You have to know this. Custom is the fourth and last ancient source of the Hindu law. Custom is regarded as one of the most important sources of Hindu law. Custom is a role which in a particular family, a particular class, community, or in a particular district has, owing to prolonged use, obtained the force of law. Custom is believed to be based on unrecorded revelation, and its observance is insisted on by the ancient writers. Custom in its legal sense means a role which in a particular family, class, or district has from long usage obtained the force of law. It must be ancient, certain, reasonable, and continuously followed. Then, kinds of customs. There are 3 divisions of customs generally recognized by Hindu law, or under the Hindu law, customs are 3 types. Number 1, local custom. Next, class custom, and number 3, family custom. Local customs belong to some particular locality or district, and they are binding on the inhabitants of such place. Next, class custom, which belongs to a caste or a sect or of the followers of a particular profession or occupation, such as agriculture, trade, mechanical art, and etc. Number 3, family custom, which relates to a particular family, particularly concerning succession to an imperishable race or succession to mutes or religious foundations. So we have learned about custom and its types. So now we are moving to the essentials of valid custom. A custom will be recognized as a valid custom if it completes certain essentials or certain conditions. They are: a custom must be ancient, custom must be invariable and continuous, custom must be established by clear and unambiguous evidence, custom must be reasonable, custom must not be opposed to morality or public policy, and custom must not be forbidden by any express enactment of the legislature. There should be onus of proof in a custom, and custom cannot created by agreement. So friends, we have completed the ancient sources of Hindu law. We have learned about Shruti, Smriti, commentaries and digest, and then customs. So I am now moving to the modern sources of Hindu law. Number 1, justice, equity and good conscience. If we say about justice, equity, and good conscience, in the absence of any law, the judge of the any court, it may be Supreme Court or the High Court, has the authority to decide the cases according to the or depending on the principles of equity, justice, and good conscience. For example, if a dispute comes with several cases and there is no law, then the magistrate or the judge cannot tell him to go out of the court. He has to solve the problem. So in this case, if there is no law, then he can use the principles of equity, justice, and good conscience to solve the problem. Next, number 2, judicial decisions or precedents. We can call the judicial decisions as precedents. So what is judicial decisions? Now we shall know about it. The judicial decisions constitute an important source of Hindu law. A large number of decisions have now piled up on almost every point of law which have superseded the law laid down in commentaries on several fronts. The decisions of Privy Council in several areas of Hindu law where the Supreme Court has not given its pronouncements are taken to be still binding. A precedent is not merely an evidence of law but also a source of law, and the courts are bound to follow the precedents. Legislation and judicial decisions have modified and supplemented the pure Hindu law, and now they have emerged as important source of the present Hindu law. So next point, legislations. Legislation is the modern source of Hindu law. It has been an important factor in the development of Hindu law. Most of them are in the direction of reforming Hindu law, and some of them supersedes Hindu law. Prior to the British regime, the law of Hindus was scattered. In different parts of the country, there were different rules and practices. It was difficult to find fixed principles of law on several areas. Legislations have become at present potential source of law in India. The important legislations which have modified, altered, and supplemented the textual Hindu law are as follows: the Caste Disabilities Removal Act 1850, the Hindu Widows Remarriage Act 1856, the Special Marriage Act 1872, the Indian Majority Act 1875, the Guardians and Wards Act 1890, the Transfer of Property Act 1882, the Indian Succession Act 1935, the Hindu Marriage Disabilities Removal Act 1946, the Hindu Marriage Act 1955, the Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act 1956, the Hindu Succession Act 1956, the Hindu Adoptions and Maintenance Act 1956, the Child Marriage Restraint Act 1978, etc. So friends, we have discussed about the sources of Hindu law. There are two sources, ancient and modern sources. Ancient sources are Shruti, Smriti, commentaries and digest, and custom. Modern sources are justice, equity, and good conscience, judicial decisions or precedents, and legislations. So friends, I hope you have learned something about the sources of Hindu law from this video. You can write the answers as it is, as I have told you. You can download the video or pause what I have said in the video, and you can write the answer as it is in the exam, and I guarantee it that the examiner should give you the full marks if you write these things in exam. So if you are new in my channel, please subscribe to my channel, press the bell icon for more notifications. Thank you friends for watching the video. Good night, have a nice dream.